I wanted to take a few minutes in this video for us to discuss something that has become a little bit controversial recently due to comments from Mr. Ken Hackathorn. For those of you all who have heard of Mr. Ken Hackathorn, those of you all who haven't, he is an absolute legend in the firearms industry. He is a competitive shooter. He has pioneered quite a few of the tactics and drills that are used defensively in defensive pistol classes and things like that. And recently, some of the comments he made regarding lights and optics on your firearm, particularly one that you are going to carry, have caught the internet by storm. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. Now, before we get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, like the video, and share the video. It helps to overcome some of the YouTube censorship. And guys, this is going to be a discussion, so I would also ask that you let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Recently on the Wilson Combat channel, Mr. Hackathorn made the statement that he did not like lights on pistols, and of course the same thing about red dot optics, because the reality is, if you are someone that is regularly training with your firearm, you know that one of the most critical things that you need to do in a defensive situation is to identify your target, and that is where a light can come in very handy in many situations. Now, there is no yes or no answer. Okay, it comes down to the individual. It comes down to the situation that you might find yourself in. Okay, this is my Gerson Witness 2311. You guys have seen this before in other videos. This is something that I had picked up a while back, and of course it's a very fun gun to shoot. This is a double stack 1911. Kind of a throwback for Mr. Hackathorn, and this is one of the guns that I do have an optic on. Most of my guns I do not have an optic on, but this one I do, okay? And there are reasons. And for the most part, this is not a gun that I carry. However, there are a lot of folks out there that will carry a firearm like this, or on their carry gun, they will have some type of a light. There's several different styles out there these days that will fit on even a lot of these micro compacts. I know you can get lights that will fit on the Glock 43X, the SIG P365, as well as others. And this gun is one that, at the most, it would be a home defense gun in certain situations, a gun that I would have staged somewhere. And in a situation like that, if it is at night or something like that, you certainly want to be able to identify your target, and that's where that light is going to come in handy. Now, there again, guys, it is up to you. It's up to you whether or not you would want to have a light on your firearm. Personally, I think that it's a good idea in many situations. That's just my own personal opinion. However, in many times, I don't carry one on my firearm. Okay, and it's now as far as optics. Now, that's a different discussion. Folks that have optics on their firearms, it is true that for a lot of shots, specifically if you get into a longer range shot, you can see here, of course, that red dot's not showing up the way that I would hope on camera. But if you get into a situation where you needed to make a longer distance shot, for folks that train with a red dot, that is a good idea. That is something that if you train regularly, that you have put in the reps and that you can hit those shots using that red dot, more power to you. Again, it's personal preference. For me, on my defensive pistols, I do not carry red dots. I do not carry any type of optic on them. If you guys have seen some of my videos, you know that I have a particular set of sights that I prefer on my defensive pistols. But something like this can work, specifically if you have trained with it. Now, one thing that I would suggest for those of you guys who do run a red dot, and this is the only thing that I would ask of you guys, and I want you to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I would suggest that you train and occasionally turn that dot off. How will you use that firearm if that dot fails you? Okay, can you shoot accurate shots without that dot being on? That's something that I would recommend strongly for anyone that has an optic on their firearm, okay? That is something that is critical in my opinion, because you're not necessarily going to have the time you need to try to get that optic working. You need to be able to go with what you have when you have it. Now, of course, this particular optic here, as you can tell, it does have a little bit of a rear sight on it. You can kind of see there in the camera, and that way, if something were to happen to the dot itself, I still have sights that I can use. Okay, that is something that I strongly recommend that you have if you use a red dot, is you have one that has some type of a rear sight. If your gun, if you have to remove the sights to get an optic on your firearm similar to this one, then I strongly recommend that you use a red dot that has a rear sight that you can use in the event of that optic going down. You know, you don't want to be in a situation to where you have no option other than point shooting, particularly if you do need to have a little bit of accuracy in your shots, especially in a self-defense situation. Okay, that's just my personal opinion on this. But guys, this is just a few thoughts that I had. I would love to know yours down in the comments below, so let me hear from you. As always, guys, practice. That's the thing. Train with what you carry. Take some training classes with what you carry. You know, you're going to find in those classes what works and what does not work. Okay, if the red dot does not hold up, just like your firearm, if you do not have something that is reliable, you don't need to waste your time on it. That can be said for anything that you use. But guys, that's just a few of my thoughts. I'd love to know yours down below. Thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel, and we'll see you next time.